Some people come home, ignore the buzzing phone, and talk to their dog first. They exhale near the cat on the couch faster than they do around close friends. At the vet, in the park, or in a quiet kitchen, they look emotionally open. Then, a person asks a simple question and something in them tightens again. From the outside, that can look like preference, eccentricity, or just being an animal person. But sometimes it is not really about preference. It is about where their nervous system stops bracing. You can often see this in small daily behavior. Some people answer other humans with short, tired replies, then spend 10 calm minutes talking gently to a pet without feeling drained. They avoid eye contact after a long day, but immediately kneel down when they hear paws on the floor. They feel irritated by small talk, yet become patient, warm, and fully present while brushing fur, filling a bowl, or waiting for a pet to settle. That contrast matters. It shows that the issue is not a lack of warmth. In many cases, the warmth is fully there. It just appears more easily in a relationship that feels emotionally clear. Pets can feel safer because they are easier to read. A dog that is anxious usually looks anxious. A cat that wants space usually shows it. The signals are not always simple, but they are usually direct. People are different. People can sound warm while feeling distant. They can invite closeness while protecting themselves, competing with you, or quietly withdrawing. They can stay polite long after trust has already started collapsing. For someone who notices tone changes, hesitation, and hidden shifts almost immediately, that is exhausting. A pet does not remove all uncertainty, but it removes a certain kind of social ambiguity, and for some people, that changes everything. What they trust is not fur by itself. What they trust is the feeling that the signal and the state probably match. That is also why ordinary social situations can feel heavier than they look. A friend says, "I'm fine," but their tone says something else. A date seems interested, then becomes vague and hard to read. A family member sounds caring, but the conversation leaves behind tension instead of closeness. For many people, moments like that do not feel small. They create residue. The mind keeps replaying them, trying to figure out what was really meant. A pet does not usually create that kind of residue. The interaction ends where it ends. It doesn't keep spreading through the mind hours later. That matters most to people who learned early that love and confusion can arrive together. Maybe the adults around them were affectionate but unpredictable. Maybe warmth came with criticism, mood swings, or sudden emotional distance. Maybe they never knew which version of someone they were about to get. Children in that kind of atmosphere become careful readers of people. They notice small pauses, facial tension, timing, and changes in energy. Later, that sensitivity doesn't just disappear. It follows them into friendships, dating, family visits, and ordinary conversations. So when they sit beside a pet, something unusual happens. Their body is not forced to decode nearly as much. They can care, protect, nurture, and stay emotionally present without managing status or shame. That can feel like intimacy without the same social tax. There's another reason this bond can run so deep. Pets allow closeness without the same level of self-exposure. You can be tender without explaining yourself. You can be needed without performing a version of yourself that keeps other people comfortable. You can have a daily ritual of care that feels mutual, steady, and emotionally clean. And when a person has spent years second-guessing what others mean, direct affection feels almost unreal. A dog leaning against your leg is not managing an image. A cat curling up beside you is not running a social strategy. Even rejection can feel cleaner with an animal. The pet walks away, hides, barks, or resists. It usually does not pretend warmth while building distance behind the scenes. That difference lands in the body before it becomes a thought. The body settles first. The explanation comes later. That is why the attachment is often stronger than outsiders expect. It's not shallow sentiment. It can become one of the only places where softness doesn't feel dangerous. But this pattern has a cost. The safer pets feel, the harsher ordinary human behavior can start to look. Over time, some people begin to compare every human bond to that cleaner template. Friends start to feel complicated. Dating starts to feel crowded with guesswork. Even kindness can feel suspicious if it arrives with too much performance. A person may stop testing human trust altogether. They may assume that if connection doesn't feel clear quickly, it's probably unsafe. That protects them from mixed signals. It also leaves them alone with people who might have been different. Over time, this can quietly shape identity. A person may start thinking of themselves as someone who simply doesn't do well with people, when the truth is often narrower than that. They may not be bad at closeness itself, they may be bad at enduring ambiguity. That is a very different thing. Because once someone starts organizing life around only the safest forms of connection, they can lose access to relationships that are slower, messier, and still genuinely good. Human trust rarely feels as clean in the beginning as trust with a pet, but that doesn't always mean it's false. Not everyone who feels safer with pets distrusts people in some deep way. Some people simply love animals and have calm, healthy human relationships too. But the stronger version of this pattern grows where emotional safety once felt inconsistent. So when someone seems softer with a dog than with their own friends, the story is often deeper than people think. It's not childishness. It's not some simple dislike of humanity. It's often a nervous system choosing the kind of closeness it can actually read. What looks like loving pets more than people may really be relief from ambiguity. The behavior stays the same, but the meaning underneath it changes completely. The pet did not create their warmth. It just became the place where that warmth no longer had to fight confusion to exist.